In a village nestled behind a shimmering curtain of water, lived a girl named Elara. Her home, a place of constant mist and the gentle roar of the falls, was painted in rainbows every sunrise. Elara was as vibrant as her surroundings, her laughter echoing the melody of the cascading water. Her days were spent weaving baskets from river reeds and tending to gardens that bloomed with impossible colors, fed by the waterfall's endless spray. But despite the beauty, a sense of longing often filled her heart. From her village, she could see the solitary peak of a great mountain, piercing the clouds. She wondered about the world beyond her watery veil, about the silence and stillness of the mountain that stood in such stark contrast to her lively home. High above, on that very mountain, lived a boy named Kai. His world was one of stone, wind, and sky. He was a guardian of the mountain's ancient secrets. His days spent charting the stars and listening to the whispers of the wind as it swept through the craggy peaks. Kai was quiet and thoughtful, his spirit as steady and enduring as the rock beneath his feet. He would often gaze down at the shimmering, misty vale far below, where he knew a village thrived. He imagined a world of vibrant green, the sound of rushing water, and the warmth of community things his solitary peak couldn't offer. He longed to feel the soft earth under his feet instead of hard stone, and to hear voices other than the lonely howl of the wind. One day, driven by an insatiable curiosity, Elara decided she had to see the world beyond the falls. She packed a small bag with water fruit and woven bread and, with a deep breath, stepped through the thundering curtain of water for the first time. The world outside was shockingly quiet and vast. The sun felt different on her skin, warmer and more direct without the constant mist. Her goal was clear: to climb the mountain and see what lay at its summit. The journey was challenging. The soft, mossy ground of her village gave way to a steep, rocky incline. She used the skills she'd learned navigating the slippery rocks behind the waterfall to find her footing, her determination as strong as the current of her home river. Meanwhile, Kai noticed a flash of bright color moving up the familiar gray and brown slopes of his mountain. Intrigued, he began his descent, his steps sure and practiced. He was cautious but curious. No one ever climbed the mountain. He followed the trail of disturbed pebbles and snapped twigs, his keen eyes tracking the stranger's progress. He moved silently, a shadow among the rocks, wanting to understand who would dare to venture into his silent kingdom. As he got closer, he could hear the faint sound of someone humming a tune he'd never heard before, a melody that sounded like flowing water. They met on a narrow ledge overlooking the valley. Elara, breathless from her climb, was marveling at the view when she turned and saw Kai. He stood there, as still and solid as the mountain itself. She was startled, but his eyes held no threat, only a quiet curiosity that mirrored her own. "Hello," she said, her voice soft but clear, a stark contrast to the wind's whistle. Kai, who hadn't spoken to another person in years, simply nodded at first. Then, finding his voice, he replied, "You're a long way from the water." He gestured towards the waterfall, a silver ribbon in the distance. A smile broke across Elara's face. "And you're a long way from the sky," she quipped, pointing up to the peak he called home. In that moment, an unlikely friendship began. Kai showed Elara the secrets of his mountain home. He led her to hidden caves where glowing crystals lit the darkness, and taught her how to read the stories written in the stars, obscured by clouds or mist. He showed her the ancient trees that clung to the cliffs, their roots deep in the mountain's heart. Elara, in turn, shared stories of her village. She described the taste of sun-ripened river melons, the feeling of the cool mist on a hot day, and the joy of community celebrations where music and laughter filled the air. She taught him songs her people sang, melodies that spoke of flowing rivers and blooming flowers. Kai had never heard such tales. He was captivated by her descriptions of a life so different from his own. The idea of a community, of shared meals and songs, was a foreign concept. Elara, on the other hand, was fascinated by the stillness and peace of the mountain. She discovered a new kind of beauty in the silence, a profound sense of calm she had never known amidst the constant roar of her waterfall home. She learned to appreciate the vast, open sky and the feeling of being on top of the world. They were from two different worlds, yet they found a common ground in their shared curiosity and their longing for what the other had. As days turned into a week, Elara knew she had to return home. Her people would be worried. A sadness fell over both of them at the thought of parting. "Will you come visit my village?" Elara asked, her voice hopeful. Kai looked down at the misty vale, a place so alien to him. "I don't know if I can," he admitted. "The mountain is all I've ever known." Elara understood. "And the waterfall is all I've known," she replied. "But now I've known the mount too. And it's a part of me." She gave him a small, smooth river stone she had carried with her. "So you can remember the feel of the river." Kai in return gave her a small, clear crystal from his favorite cave. "So you can remember the light of the stars." Back in her village, Elara was different. She still loved the roar of the falls, but she also sought out quiet moments, gazing up at the mountain peak, holding the crystal in her hand. The crystal would catch the light, splintering it into tiny rainbows, reminding her of the starlit nights on the mountain. Her stories of the boy on the mountain, of the silent peaks and the starry sky, fascinated her people. They began to look at the mountain not as a distant, intimidating giant, but as a place of wonder. Her perspective had opened their minds to the world beyond the waterfall. High on his lonely peak, Kai was also changed. He would often hold the smooth river stone, its coolness a reminder of Elara and the flowing water. The silence of the mountain sometimes felt different now, emptier. He found himself humming the tunes she had taught him, the melodies filling the quiet air. He looked down at the waterfall, not with a sense of separation, but with a feeling of connection. He started noticing the small streams on his own mountain, listening to their gentle trickling, and for the first time he didn't feel so alone. The mountain was still his home, but now he knew it was not the entire world. One morning, the villagers saw a figure carefully making its way down the mountain slope. It was Kai. He carried nothing but a small staff for balance. He was nervous, but the river stone in his pocket gave him courage. As he approached the thundering veil of water, Elara emerged, a wide welcoming smile on her face. She had been watching, hoping. She took his hand and led him through the waterfall's curtain. For Kai, stepping into the village was like stepping into another world, a world of vibrant color, sound, and life. He saw the laughing children, the lush gardens, and the warm faces of the villagers, who, thanks to Elara's stories, greeted him not as a stranger, but as a friend. And so, the boy from the mountain and the girl from the waterfall built a bridge between their two worlds. Kai taught the villagers how to predict the weather by watching the clouds on the peak, and Elara showed him the art of fishing in a fast-moving river. The villagers ventured up the mountain, guided by Kai, to see the stars without the filter of the mist. And the mountain, once a symbol of isolation, and the waterfall, once a boundary, became connected. Their story became a legend, a reminder that curiosity can build bridges, friendship can unite different worlds, and that home isn't just a place, but a connection you share with others. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to follow for more stories.